Hi.
Welcome everyone to our webinar session, information session. We're really happy to be talking to you today and talking about our very special organization and our very special volunteer program. I'm Clem. I am from France, so sorry for the thick accent. I was a volunteer 5 years ago here at Be Global. I came in January 2010, and I did half of my time with working as a volunteer in a partner organization in a residential home for young girls. And then half of my time I was spending it at the office, working with the team, the very dynamic team of Be Global, just to have like hands-on on like how to run such an international NGO and working with small budget. I stayed for about 6 months. And then I just like kept in touch with everyone in the team at Be Global, and it's been now a year and a half that I'm occupying this position of the program director. Here with me is Charlotte.
Hello, I'm Charlotte. I'm French too, and I'm doing an internship here with VE. So I arrived like two months ago. And I'm a member of the development and communications team. So basically, I am dealing with the projects we have regarding the fundraising campaign, the CSR partnership we could have with some companies, and the universities partnership too. And that's it.
Thanks. So we both are going to guide you through this webinar. Really excited about talking about Be Global, and we have also guests. Just before I introduce them to you, I wanted to talk a little bit about Be Global for the ones who have no clue what they're watching at right now. So Be Global is a small organization but very big hearts in it. We are working here in Santiago de Chile, in South America, in Chile. We work with children, but we work also with volunteers coming from different countries all around the world. We recruit them, we train them, and then they work for 4 months minimum with children, boys, girls, young, older. We have different profiles for these children, and they live in place like a residential home. We work with different of them here in Santiago. But also with a community center, working with children after school time, so just in the afternoon until 8. And then we work also with a school for children with special needs, especially with autism and Down syndrome. Down syndrome. So we send the volunteers there, and they spend the whole week. So it's about 35 hours per week working with children, and the responsibility of our volunteers is to implement the educative program that we have developed here at VE. There are 4 programs. One is about art, and it's called Festival de Arte. The other one is Liga de Deportes. It is a sports league every month. We also have Vamos a Leer, which is a reading program that we have during the summer here. That's like really soon here in Chile. And the last one is English in Motion, trying to teach English in a fun and interactive way to the children. Okay, so now welcome to my guests, to our guests. Welcome to Peter, Kristin, and Becca. We're going to ask Peter to introduce himself now. Hi, Peter.
Peter. Let me know if I'm lagging, if you can't hear my voice, because I'm getting some weird stuff over here. So I'm part of the September class here at VE. I'm currently a volunteer at Domingo Savio, which is the community center that Clem described. Um, and so yeah, I've been here for 2 months and really starting to get into the swing of everything here. Um, and so, should I say what my day looks like, or
No.
I missed a little bit of the lead up.
No,
It was lagging a lot.
That's for later. That's for later. Anything else you want to add about your personal?
Okay, yeah. So my background is I was a psychology major, and came to VE a year after graduation. So in between then, I did some software design, and I'm looking to go into education. So this is kind of like a filler. I had some time before teaching season really started down in South America, and this worked perfectly to fit into that gap of time. So I'm here volunteering for 5 months during that time, and then hopefully pursuing a career in education, specifically teaching elementary age students.
Great. Thank you very much, Peter. Now we're going to introduce to Kristen. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, it's nice to see you guys, and I'm glad to be here. So my name is Kristen. I'm from New York. I went to VE. I'm currently in New York. I went to VE last January, and I served as the programs intern. And so I was working in the office as well as on the when we had large events such as Festival de Arte or our Liga de Deportes. I was also on the ground playing with the kids at the events and providing support for those. I got to do a lot of really cool work. We'll talk a little bit later about a project that I helped to start and carry on. But I also joined a year after I graduated from college. I studied public health. And yeah, I think it was a great way for me to see what health looks like, as well as education, just everything coming together in terms of community development.
Nice. Thank you, Kristen. And now to Becca.
Hi, everyone. My name's Becca. I'm from Michigan, and it seems to be a pattern. I also came to VE after graduating college. I studied women's studies and Spanish, and I was a volunteer at VE from January to July of this year for 6 months. And I worked in Pleiades, which is just a very small residential home for mostly young kids who have histories of abuse and neglect. And yeah.
Yeah. Back to the Frenchies. So guys, like if you have any questions to ask to our guest or to ourselves, there is like a little banner or like somewhere that you can ask your questions on your right hand side, I think, and then we'll have a look at them and I provide you with answers. Why don't you ask some questions to Peter now, Charlotte?
yeah, let's start with Peter. Okay, so Peter, so we know you're a current volunteer here with us. Can you tell us why did you choose VE, for example?
So the main reason, so I was looking to do some sort of volunteer work specifically in South America, specifically with children. And so I just kind of cast my net out with that idea in mind. And one of my really close friends had done VE, and we'd actually discussed it a while ago, and she'd been telling me, you have to do VE, it's so perfect for you. But I wasn't really that wasn't really in the line when we originally discussed it. But then when I brought up that I was looking to do volunteer work in South America, she's like, are you kidding me, Peter? Remember VE, this organization that I told you about? So I have a lot of trust in this girl. She's really smart and does a lot of great work. Everything she does is basically focused on helping others, and she says that basically started at VE. So she's what made me really look into it. I was attracted to Santiago because there's a lot of English teaching options there for after VE, which I'm still applying to now. But and I was attracted to the small program, the no entrance fee, or that's not the word, but the no fee to be a volunteer. And then just being in a major city, a safe city, and being near nature and all the amazing stuff that Chile has to offer, all kind of combined in to make me choose VE particularly.
Great. So you're working at Domingo Savio.
Mm-hmm.
What's like the typical day there working with the children?
So typical day, well, there really is no exactly typical day, but there's like a structure around it. So we basically we arrive, we arrive at 1 p.m. There's probably a 45-minute commute. Arrive at 1 p.m. and prepare, get ready for lunch, get ready for the lessons of the day. It's whatever activities are going on for the day. So just help out the staff preparing for all that. Planning all that. We have about an hour lunch with the staff, and typically about 5 or 6 of the younger kids who get out of school earlier. It always varies which kids come. So that's like a long kind of lingering meal made by Tia Magali, who's an amazing cook. So I get some nice, real Chilean food every day, which is amazing. After that, there's free time until 4 when all the students are expected to be there. So during that time, it's Chris. Chris is another VE volunteer, and I usually hang out outside with the kids, play around, very active, very imaginative types of games. Kind of whatever the kids think up, whatever we think up, whatever happens that day. So it might be basketball or some weird game with the ball that they play that I still don't know all the rules of. So after that, there's kind of workshop time, onse. So you workshop onse, which is it's like a light dinner. Workshop onse, workshop, some free time up until 8. And those workshops will be different every time. Some of those will be run by the volunteers like us and that's part of what VE does, is they help train and support those workshops, provide ideas, give you someone to bounce feedback off of. So as a volunteer, you can do a workshop in anything from I'm with the younger kids, so from 5 to 15. Oh, I'm with 5 to 10. Domingo Savio is 5 to 15. You can do a workshop from like some fun science activity to English talleres to like a random thing teaching computer literacy. So whatever comes to your mind as a volunteer, you have the ability and the resources. I mean, you don't have unlimited resources at all, but you have an ability to kind of make what you want happen within the resources that you're provided. Yeah, so then the kids kind of pack up, we close down the shop and head out around 8 p.m. So that's the Domingo Savio day. That's 1 to 8, Monday through Friday. And then on the week we have Liga de Deportes, various weekends. We're going to have Festival de Arte another weekend. And then there's some office education that happens once a week where they teach you relevant. They have someone who is an expert in some relevant theme to life as a volunteer comes in and works with the volunteers and the practicantes, who are the interns, to develop those skills. So it could be self-esteem. It could be running a English workshop. It could just be education in general or behavior management. So, and a lot of it has to do with the context of Chile specifically. So you're thinking about how to deal with the kids you're going to see that next week, but within the Chilean context. But also it's always useful in all contexts.
With a little head coming up into the room behind you.
Yeah, I think they're looking for the foosball ball, attack ball.
Diego, if I recognize them. Great, Peter. Thank you. Another question?
Yeah, just the last one for you. Yeah, Peter, what do you find?
If the questions come to me, I'm gonna close the door because it's loud out there. And someone else can go.
So this is like Peter being like at the partner organization right now and dealing with like the children who want something to play, I imagine.
So yeah, Peter, tell me, what do you find the most rewarding with working with children?
Can you repeat that question very slowly and clearly? Because I have bad hearing mixed with the mismatched words and videos. It's hard to hear right now.
I was waiting for the accent. So yeah, Peter, what do you find the most rewarding at working with children?
Yes. So most rewarding thing, I mean, every time you're in, especially with the younger kids, these kids are learning stuff that will be incredibly valuable throughout their lives, and they've also, when I arrived, some kids didn't know how to do some fundamental skills that they now know how to do. So a lot of it, just being there for that part of a child's educational experience is incredibly rewarding. I can sit down and after a week of working with one kid, and he can go from having zero understanding to what multiplication is as a concept to being able to do it. And I mean, maybe not in the most efficient way. Maybe he has to count all the bunches, but he can do any sort of, he can do his entire table of multiplication. Or the same goes for reading. These kids in first grade are started off knowing a lot, being able to read a lot fewer syllables and not really being able to read words, and now they can read full words. And so just watching and being a part of that educational movement or momentum is very rewarding and very satisfying in terms of knowing that I do think, one of the reasons I did VE was to confirm whether I wanted to be a teacher or not, and I think this experience has definitely provided that confirmation for me. So so that's on the more kind of academic side, but then on just the social side, developing these really strong emotional relationships with trust and confidence and love and happiness is just something that not many people can say they get to do every day and have as part of their job. And the perfect anecdote actually just happened yesterday where Chris, the other VE volunteer, and I were walking home from Domingo Savio, and one of the kids poked their heads out of their driveway and said, "Hey, Tios, can you come here for a little bit? We have my aunt needs some English help." And they had a sick, well, they had so someone who had Friedrich's ataxia. I don't know exactly what it means, but I think it's a newly disabled. He had an appointment the other day, and they had some hospital material in English that they couldn't read to help translate and figure out what it meant and how to deal with that information, which just I thought illustrated a lot of trust and showed me like the kind of relationship that they'd be calling me in to help analyze medical information to prepare for a doctor's appointment. Is really important stuff. So that was rewarding. That just kind of affirmed the kind of trust that it's not just these transitory teachers things. It's this real kind of family-like relationship that you develop.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you very much for sharing about like your anecdotes and your experience here with us at the Global. I would like to hear the girls now and hear more about like their thoughts and perspectives on things. So Kristen, what about like if you like tell us a little bit of like what you're doing right now? like what you did, like when you were an intern with us, what were your responsibilities and your role, and then like something that was also rewarding for you.
Sure. So I'm currently, after leaving VE, I started a master's program in international health, and I'm studying social and behavioral interventions, and so very much I definitely thank my VE experience for allowing me to see what it's like to help implement programs for youth in an international setting, and now I'm applying a lot of the skills that I learned and taking my experiences to the classroom as a master's student. So I think about that all the time. When I was at VE as a programs intern, I was working on a project called Life Skills. And so the goal of the Life Skills program is to provide additional support for the youth who have lived in these imprisoned homes for most of their lives. But when they leave, they might need additional support with looking for a job or figuring out, if they're going to go to college, what do they want to study, looking for an apartment, additional like health resources such as sexual health or drugs and alcohol. So kind of looking at, outside of the academics that they would get from school, what additional skills they need to survive and have a happy life as a young adult. And so it was a lot of fun, a lot of work working on it. I was in the office spending lots of time with Clem and the rest of the team. I did a lot of research on what are other programs out there. What I was most impressed with just professionally with VE is that we're doing the best work. Looking at the what's already out there and taking those best practices and putting it into our project. So we're very thoughtful about the work that we're producing, and I was very impressed with that. And so again, I know there have been updates lately about how life skills have gone, and I'm very excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, Kristen, that's like amazing that you're our guest right now, because you were at the very initial steps of this program, the Life Skills program, that we call also Soy Independiente, for like I'm independent. We like worked with you like at the very beginning with like research and like statistics, like the part that is maybe the most boring, but like the most important is like this helped us to write a grant, and a grant that we just won. This is like a very big like success that we've had, as it is like a lot of money and now a lot of work and pressure to be able to develop it and then implement it next year. This is like amazing for VE, and it can like also imply a lot of like changes. But for the volunteers, it will be the same, as like they will have the opportunity to participate into this like new program as much as they have to implement the programs that we run with like art, sports, English, and reading. It would be like accompanying the young adults, the adolescents, the teenagers, towards like a future that is like hopefully going to bring them equal opportunities. So thank you very much for what you said about life skills. Right, Bigga, to you now. What is it about your experience that you have to talk about? A little bit about like where you worked, when did you come, and maybe the impact that VE had on your life after VE.
Okay, well, I'll start with a little bit what I'm doing now. Right now I live in Denver, and I just got this job as a family service worker at a school for an early childhood education program for low-income families. And so actually what really inspired me to do this, and
there's no
program
sound. Yes, now it's working. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
No. Yes.
Okay. Can I just talk, or is it? So I was just saying that right now I work as a family service worker for a school for low-income children. And my position is to basically support the parents of the children who are enrolled in our program, so finding them resources and things like this. And the main reason that I was really inspired to do this work is because of what I did in Santiago. I think just seeing these children and sort of, I became inspired to work with parents who might be vulnerable to this type of situation, or might have difficult family situations, and sort of working with them to prevent this situation, like prevent children from having to be in this situation in the first place, that the kids in VE often are. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Oh no. Yeah.
Parents. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next I made. Just really building close.
Becca, it seems that like we have a little like problem with connection. The sound is just like freezing maybe. I don't know if now you.
I don't know.
No.
I can hear you guys fine.
Okay, now it's working. It seems to work. Yeah.
Okay.
Can you tell us about like the work that you used to do here with the children at the home?
Mm-hmm. So I worked at Playdays, which I already said, explain a little bit about, but it's a home for young children. There was about only 10 kids in the home when I worked there, and basically I would spend a lot of time just playing with them and sort of doing creative games. And one of the biggest things I did as far as workshops was I created a garden in the back patio of the house, and sort of did some workshops around that with the kids, which was pretty successful. And then the other thing I worked on a lot was English classes, particularly with the older teenage girl who lived.
The teenage girl. I'm like trying to guess what she was saying. Tatiana, who got adopted like recently, which is like great when it happens, because it means that the child is like exiting the home and has like proper family life within like a family that with people loving her and giving her a lot of resources for succeeding in the life. Hopefully, we'll like hope that everything is okay with her. But yeah, I wish I had like some photos of the garden, because it was absolutely beautiful, and it was a lot of work because you had to like carry the mud, like all the tools by yourself, and it was quite funny. So I would like to ask a question to everyone, and like maybe start with you, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Of what makes VE so special for you?
Well, for me, as I'm working at the office, I would say that what makes VE so special is the atmosphere. I mean, we're a small team at the office. We're like 8 people working together, and so there's like a big family spirit. I mean, when I first arrived here, Josh, she's the executive director, like took time to explain me everything and really guided me, and it helped a lot. And
Me too.
Yeah. I mean, it's that it's like we just all care about each other, and I mean, it's so special because we always eat together, we share a lot of things. There's the journal too, which is like a kind of retiro. I don't know if you say that.
A retreat, like a yeah.
And I mean, it just reinforces the team spirit, and we're also like a multicultural team because we have the Frenchies and people from the United States, from the UK,
Germany,
from Chile too. So it's just a very, very nice mix, and we are also very good cookers, by the way. So if you love it, just come to us.
Yeah, we love share meals. What about you, Peter? Pedro? What makes VE so special for you?
I think what makes V really special to me is just um, having them as a constant support. If I'd been sent to Domingo Savio as a volunteer without VE there to provide some training and ongoing support throughout, it would have been a completely different experience. And that support isn't just like being there to give classes once a week or information or someone to complain to, but it's this group of extremely competent and friendly experts. Like what VE does is help provide that kind of in between the volunteers and the staff and life and all. Like their job is to support the volunteers. So I just think that to be with an organization whose only job is to help support you or not only job, whose primary job is to help support you as a volunteer, is incredibly valuable. And just like the quality of the people there, everyone cares so much, everyone's so nice, everyone's so willing to talk at any time about anything. So yeah, I would just say kind of the role VE plays as a volunteer support, and the group of people that they've put together makes VE special to me. It's a really strong community, which is nice to have when you're moving into a foreign country that you don't have any connections in or any experience with. So yeah.
Thank you, Pedro, for this. That's really nice. More compliments for us. No. Kristen, what makes VE so special to you?
Yeah, I would have to agree that I think the first thing that comes to my mind is the strong sense of community, and also the fact that it is so international. And so there are people coming from around the world literally to work towards the same goal of ensuring that every child is happy and healthy and in a good environment. And so the cross-cultural experience, and also the fact that there are always things going on, and so people are having, we invite each other over to each other's houses, or we're having like parties, or eating lunch together in the office. So just socially, it's just such a fun experience, and definitely like really cool cross-cultural. Yeah, that's what I'd say. As well as like I think it's like both. It's both the social side as well as the professional side. Like I learned so much about my interests and what I want to do with my career, and especially even having Clem was my boss, and working with the executive director and seeing what it's like to run an international nonprofit organization, and it was really rewarding in that sense as well.
Wow, thank you, Kristen. And I also remember that you helped me actively to organize this jornada, the retreat that Charlotte was talking about. We both went to see the site. We like to take the volunteers and the interns, like the whole community, outside of Santiago for a weekend, and we do a lot of activities to strengthen the community, solidarity, to reflect on everyone's or each performance as a volunteer, an intern, a staff. Just like looking at our objectives, our goals, what we want to change. Maybe thinking also of VE and like the future. It is a very like special place for that, and thank you so much for helping me with this. I remember it was like a year ago almost. Like I can't believe it. Like time flies for sure. What about you, Becca? What makes VE such a special place to you?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I would say I would agree that the support that VE provides in your work as a volunteer, but also just in your personal life while you're there in Santiago. I mean, it can be a pretty big transition for some people, especially if they haven't spent a lot of time abroad alone. And I got sick a lot, and I just have a sensitive stomach. You probably won't get sick, but Sam and Josh were so supportive to me. In any issue I had, both personally and in my work at Pleiades. And then also I would say I really, really value that VE trained us. Like, very comprehensively and sort of made me feel much more prepared going into the home. And I think that that's something that makes them really stand out from a lot of other organizations.
Oops. It froze. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
It's working now.
Where did it leave off?
Divided and representing organizations.
Oh, yeah. I just think that the fact that VE has no fee and that they train you so thoroughly really makes them stand apart from most of the other organizations I researched. So that really made it very special for me, just feeling prepared. And then the community is just great and so supportive. So.
Thank you so much, Becca, and thank you all of you. Yes, like I'm really glad that like things that came out of like your responses, that like the support that we provide is like as part of the volunteer program, we obviously focus our energy and work and everything on the educative programs that we want to implement with the children. But it is very important that you know that we don't send unskilled volunteers to work with children, because it's not that easy. And like as like Peter said, like if you don't receive a little bit of like support and like tools, it'd be completely difficult, and your impact would be insignificant. So we have like a strong program in terms of like we have orientation. It's like an initial training program at the very beginning when the volunteers arrive. They learn like from where to buy very cheap food here in Santiago to what happened or like in the history of Chile and the dictatorship. Especially, and then they learn about poverty. They learn like about the context in which they're going to work for a minimum of 4 months. With the children. So this is like a very important period for us, and also to just like get to know each other better. And this is like where we shape the community right at the beginning, and then we'll have the retreat that we've just talked about, and this like continued support throughout the 4 months, with a weekly meeting with volunteers, with lots of like training, asking professional guests to come and talk to the volunteers. It is very important that the volunteers know that they can talk about their experience, because it's very unique, and we've all went through the same thing. Like as like a former volunteer, and I still go visit the places every week. I really understand like what the volunteers go through, so it is very important that they know that we can like always share anecdotes and stories. It seems that we have a question. Do you want to read the question that we just received?
So, will there be any financial support available for people who wish to participate in this volunteering scheme?
So that financial support. So I think all of you, my guests, have said and mentioned that like VE is a no-fee program. So you don't pay anything to apply or to be part of our community. But VE Global is such a small organization. Unfortunately, we don't have the resources, the financial resources, to cover the expenses of the volunteers. Although it is important to say that like we provide the support of providing help at the beginning when the volunteers need like help with accommodation, for example. We find it for them. We find cheap accommodation. Sharing an apartment, for example, with other people, with the volunteers if it's possible, and then it is really easy for the volunteers to maybe find something that is like more convenient for them, more comfortable. We're like really free with this, like really flexible, but we always like support the volunteers in this process. But then like yeah, we don't support the volunteers and like financially. That's important it's an important question. Great. So what yes, and at this moment of the conversation, it is very important that you know that we are still accepting and in the process of interviews with potential volunteers, candidates who are applying for January class, because we receive volunteers after 4 months. We have this like very cycling like structure of volunteers coming in January, May, and September. And right now, and this is also the goal, the aim of this webinar session, is that we like motivate you guys to apply now for the January class. And you have until Tuesday the 8th of December, so a couple of like weeks now, to apply online through our webpage. So go ahead. What else can we like talk about, guys? Like maybe about like some piece of advice that you would give to volunteers who are already confirmed, because we have volunteers for this January class. A piece of advice for them, Peter?
I would say that I'd say have some goals in mind of things you want to get out of the experience here, because once you're here, it's going to go very quickly. I'm 2 months in, and I feel like, wow, it's already 2 months in. I only have 2 months left. That's crazy. So like, make sure from the start you have some goals in mind, and you're getting out, meeting people. You're gonna meet lots of people in Santiago, and you're gonna value those connections a lot. So yeah, I guess like, don't be afraid. Have trust that the VE is gonna train you well, and yeah.
You have to hide his face. It's not allowed to be.
Okay.
Una palabra sobre el tío Pedro.
Ciao. Say ciao.
Ciao, ciao. That was like a nice way of like, okay, go.
He's such a sweet kid. He's a great one to have on the video screen. Yeah, I'd say so. Have your goals. Be ready to live an action-packed time where you can get everything done. Don't expect everything to be easy, because working with kids is not always easy. There's going to be chaos. There's going to be moments when you have no clue what to do. But VE is going to be there for you, and all of that just makes it all that much more rewarding. So yeah, no real like really concrete advice, but just. I would say just be ready, you're going to have fun, and look forward to
it. Thanks, Pedro, Tío Pedro. What about you, Kristen? What piece of advice do you have to give?
So it's going to start off cheesy, but I'm going to say, like, have fun. But so I think, like, when you're working at VE, you're always learning. So whether you're, like, working in an office or working with the children, you're learning in that aspect. But also really take advantage of that time. You're learning about yourself, and there's also fun times hanging out with everyone. You know, we had parties, we went out together, so all of that is a part of a really cool, unique experience. And so just be sure to take advantage of all of that, all of the aspects, the fun, the work, everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Kristen. And you, Becca, if it's working.
Can you hear me? Okay. Just tell me if you can't. I would say definitely just try to build connections with your fellow volunteers, just as far as having social support, but also support for your work. So being able to like chat with them about what's going on in the home and sort of share experiences in that way can be super helpful. Also, I would say to find like some in Santiago. Can you?
Yeah. Nope.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, now we hear you.
Okay. So while I was here, I took weaving classes.
Yes, she's like talking about weaving classes that she took as like a workshop outside of VE in like her free time, and And I gave the contact to my mum when she came visit, and she loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
you're
finding
back.
things outside. What? Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Clem already said it, but yeah, finding things to do in your free time and ways to get involved with the Chilean community, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. It's very important that the volunteers have like some like personal life as well. So like that they can do yoga here. There are really cheap classes everywhere, and that it's like the summer.
Spanglish is a good one.
What did you say?
Is that Spanglish? It's like a Spanish-English intercambio, where so people who speak Spanish meet with people who speak English and at like bars or clubs, and you have like 30 minutes speaking one language, 30 minutes speaking the other language, which is fun.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like this is something that is also a good way of like knowing other people, maybe from other countries. Also, Chileans. Chileans are like very welcoming. Like everyone finds their own family, Chilean family here, and then it's very difficult to leave. That's why like you come back, like me. But yeah, no, that's a very good piece of advice. Um, I also wanted to like say a few words of like the global. V stands for Voluntarios de la Esperanza. Esperanza, perdón. This is in Spanish, and it means volunteers of hope. But it is also the name of like the first residential home that received volunteers. And volunteers there were like doing a lot of things, but there were no structure because it was all just like organized by the residential home in itself. And so VE Global was funded by volunteers, for volunteers to have like more structure for the volunteers, more support, not just like to send unskilled volunteers, I insist, into the homes working with children, because like really what we do with them can have like a big impact. So like if it's a negative thing, like it can have like a very negative impact, and we're like really cautious of like what is good, what is bad, and like what the volunteers should be doing. And it has like evolved and developed like through the years. We've just had like our 10th anniversary this year, because it was founded in 2005, and so we're really happy about this. And it was like the volunteers like just helped making it growing, and develop like all of the different aspects that BE is like working on. For example, the programs that we have, one of them is like the sports league. This was like an idea of a volunteer for coming from Germany, if I'm not wrong, and he just like wanted to play football, soccer, once a month with the children, and now it has like evolved into like this amazing place where we take the children once a month to a gym, and like outdoor space. We do like and invite like a guest, professional guest, to help us with the main activity that we do, that is sports related. And then we have like a healthy snack for them, and we play this little game that we call trivia, with like beautiful posters that I'm sure that Peter, Kristen, and Becca helped designing. We want them to be like fun, so that the children can read them and memorize the fact that they learn. It's all about this health and security and safety, and then they receive like little prizes for their participation. And the prizes are always related to those themes, and they're all always like maybe a healthy snack. So this is an example of like how the volunteers are making VE and are still making it. And yeah, to me this is like why VE is so special. What do you have like another like something else that you want to share with us? What do you think?
Look, I see if you have any comments or...
Peter? No, maybe Peter, you can like tell us about like what like the upcoming events that we're going to have at VE.
Okay. Well, so we've got upcoming Liga de Deportes and Festival de Artes both coming up soon. So Festival de Artes, um, each home prepares a series kind of art related materials around a certain theme. So this year's theme is superhéroes, superheroes. So all the kids are making different things. So some kids are in our group. Some kids are making paper dolls. The younger guys, like superhero paper dolls. The older kids are making these like superhero identification cards, which actually turned out to be really, really cool. It's kind of like a computer literacy workshop type of thing. So they're doing it on the computer and then printing them out using different photo editing software, etc. Kids are making little minion bottle caps. We're doing this cool poster thing. There's discussion of making. There's a group project. So there's individual projects, and then there's a group project where it's some sort of performance or maybe a movie. And then Charlotte and I and the rest of our class needs to prepare a skit or something to do as a volunteer class during that time as well. So we're gonna have to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because it's like the volunteers get really creative and like really silly, and then it's like a lot of fun because the children just like have a laugh, and the volunteers as well. So it's like this is something that I'm like looking forward to for sure. Thanks, Pedro.
We have the scholastics Saturday and the inauguration tomorrow.
Oh yes, Charlotte is saying that like we have the Liga this Saturday.
Yeah.
And
the inauguration tomorrow afternoon because we have some painters that came and paint a whole wall at Refugio. So tomorrow organizing like kind of event. We're gonna have snacks and so on there with the girls and the tienes there.
Yes, yeah. This is like a very cool project that is like also entering into the Festival de Arte, where like they painted a wall and the girls had to paint as well. So this is finished now, and we're going to have an inauguration tomorrow. That's like very exciting. Peter, sorry, did we like interrupt you?
Well, no, so I was gonna say that's something coming up for VE. There's also a big event coming up for Domingo Savio, which is their exposición, their exposition. They have it once a year. All of their donors come, all of the families come, all of the relatives of the family come. They was telling me there's like so many seats planned. I don't even know how they're gonna have that many people. So we're like the volunteers plus the staff. We're like building a stage. Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
That's creepy.
I can't take it off, I think.
That's better.
But because I thought it would be going on your head, but like no. But like we can see some like of the costume behind you. That's like for that, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, and this is a big deal for Domingo Savio. They made all those costumes themselves, the staff. Yeah, it's a lot of work. We're actually coming early this week every day to set up for that, get that ready. So that's cool. The other thing, if we have extra time to talk, that we didn't discuss is just kind of traveling around Santiago, what weekends look like, etc.
Yeah.
So since I've been here, I've only been here 8 weeks, I guess, or maybe more, maybe 10. I don't know. I don't even know. I've been to Valparaiso, which is this big beach city on the beach. Really fun. Been to Las Cruces with the Spanglish group, which is the Intercambio group, Spanish-English group, which is a small beach town. Been to a VE volunteers old host brothers family in Rancagua, which is a city nearby. And then for the visa trip where I had to leave this country, I went to Mendoza, which has an amazing wine. And so each of those experiences have been completely different from Santiago, and completely different from each other. One's like you're hanging out with the traditional Chilean family, having the asado, staying up till hours, speaking with the crazy dad. Another one's like exploring. So Mendoza, I just kind of like relaxed really hard. They had free wine at the hostel every night. And Mendoza's famous for the wine. Basically, the point is within 2 hours, in any direction of Santiago, there's amazing opportunities for travel to see other cool places, etc. And then weekends in the city are amazing, whether you're hanging out with VE volunteers or your roommates or people you see around. It's just a really fun, vibrant city with lots to do. So.
Great. Thank you very much, Pedro. We are close to the end right now, but like I just like wanted also to remind everyone that like we have like new programs for next year. One is the life skills program, Soy Independiente. We're going to implement it next year for 8 months. I'm really excited about this. We have also won another grant that will also help us finance the volunteer program for the next year, for the whole year. So it's going to be like very exciting, lots of like resources that we can use for improving our program, making it like bigger, making it like growing, and a lot of like opportunities for the volunteers to create and do with the children. So just like maybe the word of the end for each of you, just in one word or like two if you want, to describe like your experience, like to summarize your experience. One or two, Pedro.
I mean, I wanted to say rewarding, but it seems so cliche. I want to try to think of someone else.
I know, I was thinking like life-changing, but that's from
yeah,
all
we can just say
different...
like
Mind-blowing. No. I don't know. I'd say rewarding. Rewarding.
Okay, rewarding. Good.
I'll say heartwarming.
Yeah, good.
Heartwarming.
That's good.
Heartwarming. Ooh, so nice. So with those like beautiful words, we'll end this webinar. Thank you so much, guys, for being like our guests for this webinar, like helping the Frenchies to do this online session for information. We've had only one question, so hopefully you know that you can like write to us via email, info@ve-global.org. This is not easy to say, but go on like to our webpage and like write to us, call us. We'll be happy to give you more information. But like apply now. That's like our message for you today. Thank you again, Peter, Kristen, and Becca. We miss you, girls. I can't believe it's been like a year. It's sad when I think of it, but like it's really nice that we can like still be in touch. And I hope that you will come to visit someday. But the good thing is like now we have friends everywhere in the world, so we can like also, that's like another trip like for the future to come and visit you guys. Thank you all, and ciao. Saludos.
Guys, ciao.
Ciao.